Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to review my first round game from the third Cleveland Go Club ratings tournament. This was a tournament that happened on Sunday, June 2nd, and I was not only playing in it, but I also helped set up in the morning, and I was the tournament director as well. I did the brackets, or the pairings. So it was a busy day, but it was really fun. My first round opponent, Garett Germany. We have actually a little history in this tournament already, where we've played every tournament so far in this tournament series. In the first one, he was 1 Dawn, and I had to give him 5 stones. Now I was 5 Dawn at the time. The reason why I had to give a 1 Dawn 5 stones as opposed to 4 stones is the tournament pairing system I use. The ranks will slightly adjust based on your win-loss record. So I believe we played in the second round, and because I had won my first round and he had lost his first round, my rating went up slightly and his went down slightly. So then it averaged out to 4 stones. It averaged out to 5 stones. It averaged out to 5 stones. And we see something similar to that in one of my later rounds of this tournament. But he was 1 Dawn at that tournament. The next one, the second Cleveland Go Club ratings tournament, he was 1Q. And in that one, I believe we actually played in the first round, and that was also 5 stones, because at that point, no ranking adjustments had happened, so it was just a 5 Dawn versus 1Q, 5 stones. But then we get to Sunday at the third Cleveland Go Club's rating tournament, and he is now 2Q AGA, and so 5 Dawn versus 2Q, 6 stones, and the thing with Garett is he's definitely not 2Q. He goes to my local club. He is very strong. He plays all the Dawn players even or 1 stones and does very well. So I knew this game was gonna be tough. We were using AJ rules for this tournament, and the time settings were 30-minute main time with 2 30-second overtime periods. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the game. I am white. My opponent is black. And whenever I see this pincer, I get very happy as white in a handicap game, because my whole goal in the handicap game is to divide up the board. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to try to save every single stone and keep black separated. No, I'm just trying to kind of keep black's stones separated as much as possible, even if I end up sacrificing those stones. So already at move 7, we have a black group here, then a white group, black group, white group, black group. And even I have done, which in an even game is something you even want to do, but in a handicap game is also good, is seal in corners. Because you can see when you look at the board like this, it looks hard to seal off corners, and it is. So the fact that already at move 7, I'm able to seal off this corner from the outside is super important. And the reason why it's so good is after black attaches under, this corner group has no effect on the rest of the board. It is stuck. It lives just to make black a few points. That's all it does. But white's influence affects the entire board. It's emanating to the top, to the center, and to the left side. And so what can I do next? Well, I fix first, and we'll get to this move in a second. But I'm able to then play C6. And again, black, white, black, white, black, black, white, because now I'm connected here. So again, I'm getting this kind of cut up board, which complications do favor the stronger player. So yeah, and again, if you just look at, like, let's say black jumps here, black starts to connect up to the D10 stone, and yeah, when black starts to connect, black's power and black stones start to work together. So yeah, so whenever black pincers and extends, I get very happy with that as white. Now here, I need to play Q15 now. Or sometime in the near future. Again, all this is trying to do is keep black separated. And it's also asking a question. So if everything goes well, which, again, you can't assume this when you're playing, but just for example's sake, let's say something like this happens, right? I would leave this now and go elsewhere. And the idea is, again, I have now separated black. And black's going to play differently while the board looks this way. You'll notice I tried to play this move later, but the board had changed at that point and black can play differently. So if you're ever going to play these kind of moves that have multiple different answers, like black could go here, black could go here, black could go here, black could hane. There's a lot of different answers black could do. You want to do that early on. Now the problem with that is that sometimes black plays moves that you can't ignore. Like if black goes here, you probably can't ignore this. Yeah, you probably can't ignore this. That would mean, okay, now your attention is in the upper right now. So you don't want to probe just to probe, but timing is also very important. So it's a balance. When should you probe and when shouldn't you probe? Basically what happens is after this move, I play this move, which this is me looking at the weakness of my shape here. Because there is some bad Aji. Like if I go here immediately, there is some bad Aji here. But I should actually not invite this fight, but be okay with this fight. Because black shape is not perfect. Black shape is not perfect. For example, there is Aji at some point, not immediately, of this kind of cut. And black can prevent the weaknesses of that cut by playing like this kind of peep. But the problem with this peep, or whenever you let white connect here, the problem with that is now you can't connect under as black. Without that peep there, you can connect under as black. Because when white tries to separate, you have this double Atari at E17, and now you're connected. It might look like there's like a co-ish shape here, but you can see white can never live here. But that doesn't work when you have peeped here. Because now you cannot play at E17, but also the key move being F16. You're forced white to connect. So if black ever tries to play this way, black is going to be preventing black's own connection underneath. Which means if this kind of fight happens, now the upper side is now vulnerable. Even now, if black tries to connect under, we can Atari this way and successfully cut black off. So again, you shouldn't invite fights that aren't favored for you, but this fight I think is okay for white. But in the game, I fix that in a very slow way. It's very slow moving. And black ends up adding a stone here. Which is reasonable. I think because black can connect underneath anytime, I think playing some move at c6 is definitely worth more. But I can also see what black's trying to do. Black's trying to attack this stone, so I could also see black kicking. And if white comes up, then jumping. So if anything, if the whole point of this d14 move, and then connecting here, is to isolate this d10 stone, then I should attack that when I can. But playing here would give black the chance to fix that. So, yeah. But I do get that move. Black backs off, and then I just jump. And black jumps. So again, this was black's chance to give that stone up on a small scale. Like, black could just leave it. Just do something else. Maybe play something k4. Maybe descend. And give up that on a small scale. Because right now, white doesn't want to play any moves like this. Because this side is actually not that big. If black can do something like that, look how small that left side becomes. And black avoids any fights, any confrontation. And so white has all this thickness, but what can white use it to attack with? Nothing. So by jumping here, not only does black get heavier, but black gives white something to attack. And so again, this is what I want in a handicap game. So I lean, shoulder hit, and then cap. And now my stone at g13 is actually in a pretty good spot because there's now a connection with my stones here. If I did not have that move, and let's say something like this happens, and I try the same thing, well, now my shape is not as good, right? There's no real connection there. But now my move that was once not so good now becomes a good move after I cap. Black jumps. Fix my shape. I couldn't really find a better way to fix. So I just connected. Black attaches, Hane, and then black pulls back. Yeah, here black definitely needs to play this one. Black shape is okay here. After this, you can see black makes pretty nice shape, like so. If I had played correctly, this would be a lot worse for black, where I should play here. Because what is really the only move black can play? Black has to go here. But notice this is black. It's as if black had played this knight move with g3, but I'm already cutting through it. So black's making a shape that I am already cutting. And if black comes out, then I can turn. And this is a problem for black, because if black helps the left side, well, now black has problems in the lower left. This group is very, very weak. It's very, very weak. If black helps the corner, though, then I actually still keep black sealed in. And again, even if black can live on the left side, right? And I don't think it's that easy. Let's just say black can live. Black's made very few points, and again, now I can start cutting up black some more, right? Now, again, the board's black, white, black, white, black, white, black, even more, right? How many black groups are on the board? Enough for white to keep attacking. So that's kind of the key. So I should definitely jump here, and you'll see that that's the move black gets. When I jump, black peeps and then jumps. So that's the move that I should take. It's a key spot here. So black's shape ends up being okay, as opposed to this one. But if I had punished properly, then this would be pretty difficult for black. And even in some cases, I can play this one and even force black to, again, continuously cut his own groups apart. So, but I did feel okay with this because I do get this slide here, and after this, black should definitely slide here. Yeah, black should definitely slide here. But black just descends and allows me to then get h2. So again, I'm already profiting from my attack on the left side, even though black is living, or black has lived on the left side, and therefore white doesn't have points on the left side. I've reduced black on the bottom side so much that wasn't really worth it for black. Again, remember that variation where black could have just given up the left side. Look how big the lower left corner can be when black gives up the left side. But because black tried to save, look how many points black lost in the lower left. So play there. Extend. Black Hane's good order of moves there. And then black was here. And then during the game, I had a big internal conflict of if I could kill, obviously this would be great. Round's over in 5-10 minutes. Long lunch break. It would be great. Because this kill would be definitely worth or enough for white to win. But it is a pretty big read and a big commitment as well, because if I can't kill, if I can't kill, then playing moves on the inside loses points. But two, look at my outside groups, right? This group on the bottom is not super strong, and my group in the lower left is definitely not strong. So one, not only is it I have to make sure I can kill black, like make a dead shape, but I also have to make sure all of my surrounding groups are alive. Now, could I be like, oh, well, I'm playing a weaker player. It's a handicap game. I got to make things happen. No, that's not how you should play. You should assume your opponent sees what you see and be patient. Again, the handicap's there for a reason, so there's no need to force anything. The mistakes will come. If the handicap is correct, which to be fair in this game, with Garett being pretty much a dom player and being 6 stones, it is pretty tough, but still there is a rank difference there, and so in my mind the mistakes will come, and so that's why in handicap games you should be patient. You should be patient, because if you're not just going to overplay in your even games, why do it in a handicap game, right? So yeah, but I was like, okay, this is forced. This is forced. This is forced. I have to play D1 at some point, even if I can throw in first, which I can't. But we can see that this is a dead shape. Or this is not even a Seki. If I could get this move, it has potential to be a Seki, but the problem with getting that move is this is actually threatening to capture here. And that's why black's cutting here is actually quite important. And a good order of moves. Like if you Hane first and then cut, that's not Sente. So the fact black cut first and then Hane was a very good order of moves. But yeah, in my mind, this was alive. And again, when black turns at b2, that really hurts my outside group. So I just decided, okay, I'll just descend at b2, extend my base here so I'm practically alive, and then go elsewhere. So yeah, but it turns out we looked at it after the game that I couldn't kill anyways, which is what I did read. But again, at 11 a.m. in the morning, who knows what I might miss while playing. So then I play here. And again, this is where timing is everything, because now black extends. And I was like, okay, I could go down like this. But after this sequence here, black stone at M15 is so perfect. It's so perfect. Usually there's a lot more Aji there. But in this kind of case, if black just goes here, I am so overconcentrated. Like this is so nothing for white. I capture a stone maybe, but I'm very close to being dead. And if I do something like this, later black can save that stone. Like black just goes elsewhere. And if you look at this board, like I am dividing up the board, but I'm not making any points. So I decided to try to complicate the game by attaching here. And again, this is where timing is everything. If I had done this earlier, Q15, then what you'll see black doesn't work. But because I waited till now to do it, black Hanes, cuts, and descends, I can't capture the stone at 015. So it was just too naive of me to think that black still had to play this way. Because this is all that I thought black would do. And I was like, okay, black's going to either go here, and if black goes there, then I can attach. Or if black goes here, I make some light shape and then jump out somehow. Right. But I always tell myself, I tell my students, never assume your opponent's going to do something that favors you, right? Because they're trying to win as the other color. So if it favors white, why would black play in that way? So black plays perfectly to just punish me. And I can't capture this stone in a ladder. And there's really not much else I can do. Because all my stones nearby have so few liberties. So I just end up Atariing. I even end up doing this ladder so I can get this push here at Q13. Then I Hane. But black can capture. I get to descend. But when black fixes, just look at how thick black gets in the center. Look how thick black gets into the center. Now, there's a question here that is important. Should black go here, which is better for endgame? Or should black go here, which is better for the outside? Because when black goes here, notice in black blocks, I have this cut later. And this cut does somewhat come into play later. Now, again, black can't, and neither can I, of course, but we can't predict 100 moves down the line. But it is important to note that if black was planning, because black's has such a huge center right now, I would actually try to get rid of the Aji in the center because of what I have in the center, right? Thickness is good when it doesn't have weakness. Then it's not as much thickness, but kind of flimsy at that point. But again, Q18 is better for endgame. So again, you got to pick your poison here. So I didn't cut. Black attaches it, and I fixed, which is okay, I think. There is, like, if I go elsewhere, there is bad Aji. Like, I can't descend because this just works, actually. I can't cut. If I connect and go here, notice I'm unable to capture here because there's two weaknesses. Like, black could cut here next. But even if, like, even this feels quite painful because I have to answer again, and now black's right side is super solid. So by going here, I am at least creating or keeping Aji on the right side, which does end up saving me from what happens in the game. So this move actually ends up, even though it is a very passive move, it does end up paying dividends later. But then black plays here, which White's game plan and my game plan and basically every handicap game I play is to divide and conquer, right? Move from one side of the board to the next, be able to make profit from it, and go from there. But so far this game, I haven't made much profit, and I'm the one under attack. Like, from this point on, notice I have to now live on the bottom. I Atari first, and black makes this kind. Like, you might think, okay, black's making a table shape, it must be okay, but it does feel kind of slow. Like, if anything, you can play this kind of move, or if anything, just play here. And again, with the center building, like, I have to add a stone and then like cut here. Look at this center, right? Oh my goodness. And white has to be careful because, again, when you take all this thickness but you don't use it very effectively, all of a sudden white doesn't have a base on this upper left group. And again, that comes back to play later, actually. So yeah, when black goes here and plays this move, well, now I said, okay, well, now I can connect anytime. Let me play a P2. But again, P2 is actually too much. Black can just play some move like this or like this, and white has problems. Even though I can take the corner, black can then extend here and cut off the lower side. So again, even though I'm cutting up black and that's what I want, how many groups am I starting to have on this board? It was becoming a problem. But black goes here, allows me to connect, and then jumps. And then I come in. So again, this was when I was definitely feeling uncomfortable because I feel like I always try to play in a way that if I wouldn't play in an even game, I wouldn't play it in a handicap game. And so if I was playing an even game that was not only like even skill-wise, but like point-wise, like it's a close game still, I would not invade this right side. I would just tell myself, okay, just play from the outside, reduce it, and make your points elsewhere. So like I could play some move, maybe like this or like this, right? And black takes the right side, and you know, it's whatever, right? But again, look at this board. That right side's actually too big. That right side's too big. So I felt like I had to come in. And so this was me being on the back pedal. I was the one feeling uncomfortable. Black's basically playing how I would play if I was black. Like if I was in control, this is how I would want white to be playing. So even here, like if black plays S3, which black should, because black has so much strength, I'm already losing points on the bottom. Because again, without that, I can Hane here and get rid of the points here. When black goes here, notice I can still play R1, or even now S2 even works even better. But then I play here, and black was telling me, oh yeah, because of this cut here at P11, black has to be not super careful, but black does need to worry about it. Which again comes back to, should black have taken at P17? And that's why I would say yes, black should. So that's why black played here. I played this knight's move, but this knight's move, while it's okay, black should not play the Sealand move. Because what am I asking black? I'm asking, can I run into the center? And so black should ask themselves, do I care about that? And black really shouldn't care, because let's say black plays S5, which takes away white's base. White has no eyes. Where am I going into the center? Right? Where are my eyes? Where are my groups? And again, even if this kind of thing happens, remember the upper left is still super weak. So yeah, it's black could play a little patiently here. Black did not need to rush to cover here. Black could take away the base. Then I attach here, which again, this is threatening to cut here, and it's starting to make some good shape. And then I can descend, and then descend again, or extend here. And now white's actually starting to make some kind of base, but realistically, there's not much here. Black just plays something like this. White is too weak to live here. There's just not enough space. But black pushes and peeps, which again, this is a nice sequence. I cover. Black needed to push here. Black needed to push here. Because if I connect, This move is sente. Can't let me connect. And then order moves here. This move is sente, which is threatening to cut or connect back. Like, I have to connect here, but black actually just cleanly connects. And this is where having strength is so valuable, that things just work. Things just work. So, yeah. And so if I have to play like here, obviously this would be too much. Even I get this Atari, there's just, this move's getting peeped, or this connection's getting peeped at. So, yeah, that would be too much. If I have to sacrifice like this, oops. Even if I could live and black has to block, we just go back to look at this huge center. Huge center. And again, look at the board. Where is white's huge territory to compete with that? It's nowhere to be found. So, yeah, black just cutting. Notice when I get this move, I make an eye at p6, and black also, or I get this extra forcing move here. Which is why black shouldn't even cut yet. Black should just descend. And because, again, black can push here. So, yeah, q7 was actually kind of the key spot there. So the fact I was able to get q7 was very good. And this Atari, I can hane, black jumps or extends, and then I clamp, and black counter clamps. It's kind of an interesting shape there. But now there is some aji. There is some aji. And one thing to keep in mind, I don't think black's in Byoyomi yet, but black is getting low on main time. And as you can imagine, not only as a stronger player, but as a bona fide blitz player, I have a pretty massive time lead. Now, it's not as big as maybe some other rounds, but maybe black has 5 minutes left and I have 15, something like that. And time pressure does come into play eventually. So black hanes, the point of this hane is to make sure white... So, well, the first thing is, what is white trying to do with this move? The idea is, if black cuts, it forces me to play p8, which really helps my life and death. It really helps my life and death. Because I'm starting to make a shape that I can live in one move. And, yeah, and that's pretty nice. That would be pretty nice. So, like, if black, I don't know, cuts here, there's some bad aji. Now, the thing with this cut, believe it or not, this is not always sente. Like, if I end up giving too much on the right side, like, even though I capture the stones there, like, if this right side is worth more, then it's actually, like, okay for black to give up. But assuming it's almost always sente, there is some aji. Again, not a lot. No, we're on a prayer here, but there is some aji to make something work here. Because again, if this, basically this move is sente, right? If black's trying to kill. And so I have a lot of ways to use that to my advantage. And yeah, maybe I can Atari and then like stand up here. Like you can see this is actually just kind of working for white. If black pushes here, I can Atari like this and threaten to capture this way or connect this way. If black connects here, though, this would actually be a connect and die over here. So there's just enough aji to make things interesting here. Yes. So, and black doesn't have to cut here, but if we assume something similar happens, so I guess black could go there. It's a lot harder. I guess if black plays at t10, it's okay because I don't have time to connect here. Like this would be nice, but it just doesn't work here. So yeah, there might be still some other ways for white to make things work. Like maybe this move. Yeah, maybe this move is working nicely for white because if black goes there, like so, now I'm starting to connect back to my center and. Keep in mind, black's not fully alive here yet either, so black has to be careful about the left side. So basically, there is seemingly just enough aji to make it work. So black is just asking, okay, white, do you really care about these stones here? Do you really care about them, white? And I do, because I want black to make this exchange. So black does, but now I'm heavy in the center. I have these 3 stones that I have to kind of do something with. So black does all these Ataris, which again, this is good order of moves because black's making sure because I have to come back and live on the right side. Black's making me heavy in the center first. Push, Atari. And then here, yeah, all black needed to do was just like capture here. Because this is forcing me to have to connect. There's no other move. And then black can go elsewhere. And notice black actually makes points on the right side with this exchange. But notice when black cuts, which by itself doesn't make any points, I peep once. Because there's a push and cut here, but I didn't want to get rid of my own liberty. So I just peeped first. This move, once again, just works. If black tries to cut, then this Atari is also a cut, and I can capture. If black connects, which is what black does in the game, I can Hane here, which again, black can't cut here because of this Atari. But if black cuts and captures at S7, I get this Atari and connect under. Now, black should do this way. And again, this is where S14 is just miraculously placed, because if I didn't have that move, black could just push here and then double it or Atari like this, and then could cut at S, or just capture at R15. It would just be a double Atari. But because I played at S14, I can actually connect here. So it was one of those just, not eureka moments, but just one of those thank goodness moments. I didn't read 100 moves ahead, but it just so happened that playing S14 does help white's connection here. So that was kind of crazy. But yeah, so white is now either can connect or capture. But black descends here and lets me capture the stone here. But notice descending at T11 doesn't really make black points. So there's no real value in black going at T11. So yeah, black should just go here. This is all Sente, and then do whatever black's going to do. But, okay, that's one group saved and only made 5 points. Now black goes after the center. So again, this is a game I was very uncomfortable with because I'm being put in these scenarios of, okay, here's a group that has to live, here's a group that has to live. Where in a handicap game, white should be doing that to black, not the other way around. So play light shape there, and again, black can attack either side. Black can attack either side. Push, and this is where I'm glad I peeped here when I did. And then Atari, and yeah, this was a big order of moves mistake. I need to Hane here first, and we see why basically immediately. Right now, there's only one move for black, and it's like Hane here because there's a ladder. But there's a big reason why I need to play there, and we'll see why. It's that black can squeeze like this. Because if I try to connect, it'll be a connect and die. But if I ever take, it becomes a double Atari like this. So that means I have to take and connect here. And now I have no eyes, which is a big problem. So if I can at least do this, notice now black, when I play L11, black can't play at L12 anymore. So that's the reason behind the Hane. And I say I have to. I kind of have to. Like if I just take here, it's too much. Again, I'm combating a huge center. And so if black can play this way, I don't, like, where's white's territory? There's no big white territory on this board. So I had to save, because this is cutting stones. I have to keep the Aji of this alive. And black connects. But yeah, black can just connect here first. And it's just nothing. I am so low on liberties too. There's just nothing here. Yeah, Atari first, and then Atari, yeah. So, yeah, black, but black's in Byoyomi now. Black is in Byoyomi now. So that's where time pressure comes in. Black connects. And again, here, black could just pull back. I have to play a move worth 3 points in Gote. I have, what was that, 20-ish stones? A little less than that? Worth 2 points. That's a win for black. And guess what? Black then turns attention and attacks the upper left. And I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5 groups. My right side groups, which are way more than half my stones, are worth like 15 points collectively. Now you can just see that black doesn't need to kill. Black just needs to take care of the left side and black will be okay. When black goes here, not that this doesn't work, but black has to make sure it works. Which, when you're low on time, is hard to do. So I Hane. Black cuts, yes. I take, and again, there's a ladder, so black has to Atari, and then I poke here, which again creates some bad Aji and black shape. But this should still all work for black if black just fixes like this. Because even though I'm threatening to push through and cut here, how many liberties do I have? I have, let's see. I have 2 liberties. So we can see black has way more than 2. So this would be okay for black. But black connects here. And so black's thinking, oh, if I take away liberty, it'll be okay. But I extend once for Aji, and then I can cut. And again, the idea with this is the fact that, and this is kind of where, regardless of which one black had played, between F9 or G8, doesn't matter. Something will still work for white. Because let's say black plays the other way, which is this one. Black doesn't take away liberty, but I am unable to Hane here. So I have to extend, and I still can't Hane. So black has 3 liberties. The problem is white has 4 liberties. So white will win this semi here. But okay, what if black takes away a liberty? Like black did in the game. The difference is now, like if I just block, I just get cut. But I can Atari first. And if black has to connect, then I can block. And this ladder favors white. So, in this case, even though black took away liberty here, black also has 1 less liberty in this variation. So, similarly, I would capture, and now black side would still live. And honestly, this would still lead to a win for black, most likely. But white's alive in the center, at least. And captures a lot. So what black does in the game is Atari. And again, I just have the right stones in the area to be able to connect. Now here, I think black should just turn here. Force me to capture here, which might sound crazy, but again, look at this upper left. Look at this upper left. Look how easy it is to attack this / kill this. And now black has the entire top as well. So black could even switch like this. But what happens in the game is black pushes. I have to fix. And I'd say I have to fix actually, but again, I have enough liberties that I can actually just go here. This was a big miss by me. If I go here, black has to connect. And again, I have enough liberties here to be okay. And I could just surround the left side. Because again, like this, I have enough liberties to make it okay. Because what I missed was black can play here in Sente to connect the center group. Now I say Sente, I probably could ignore, but obviously, you know, if I go elsewhere, that's a huge gain for black. So I really want to answer that. But then I play this shoulder hit, kind of looking at this peep here, but I really should just play the better shape move, some better shape move, something like this. Because I wasn't expecting black to go here because I missed this move. And when black played here, I was like, oh, gosh darn it. So this was where black was definitely in Byo-Yomi, but I still had main time, so I should definitely use that main time to my advantage. Yeah, there's no reason not to. Especially if I'm feeling more comfortable about the game, then I should just take it to an end game. Because this game is very close at this point. Like if I just jump here or do something, the game is super, super close. So again, I've captured now the entire left side. That was my big capture of the game. Because so far, what else has white done in this game? Not much. So play there, black cuts across. And I was like, okay, I'll just connect here. There's some crazy sequence here. Something like this. Like this. Like there's some craziness here. I should use my time to try to read this, but I figure just going here was good enough. Going here was good enough. Because black has to capture, but then there's Aji in the corner. But actually, this would not be enough for white. Because black can just let me capture here. Something like this. And again, I have gained a little bit up top. But this should be enough for black to hold, actually. Because this kind of center upper area for black, center middle, center upper middle area for black is just too big. And again, look elsewhere, whereas white's big territory. So, but what happens is black connects there, lets me cut Hanes, which doesn't work, and then actually loses on time here. Now, the loss on time was a little unfortunate because the time setting was 2 30-second overtime, and on the clocks we were using, which I believe were in clocks, they are Byoyomi's denoted as 2:30, which means you have 2 30-second overtimes. But if you didn't know that, then it would just look like 2:30, like 2 minutes 30 seconds, and that's what my opponent thought it meant. When he had 2 30-second overtimes, he thought that meant he had 2 minutes and 30 seconds as overtime. And so when the first one ticked down and it went from 2:30 to 1:30, he was confused. And then when he was getting the countdown, the clock was, doing the 10, 9, 8, 7, and then it dinged because he ran out of time. He was confused because he was like, it went from 1:30 to then 0. What happened? And I was like, yeah, it was 2 30-second overtime. How did you forget or whatever? But then I remembered he showed up late, and so he told me like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. Just pair me, but I'll be a little bit late. But when I was doing the tournament introductions and I was telling about the time, he didn't hear that. So he didn't hear what the time settings were. So I just completely forgot that he wasn't there for that, and therefore didn't hear what the time was. So it was a mistake on my part for not letting him know. But the clock did run out, and so as TD, I did decide to, we have to respect the clocks. The clocks are there for a reason. So we did end up, or white did end up taking the win here. Yeah. And at this point, though, it is like a 5-point game. So it like I wanted to keep playing, but if we couldn't just play without a clock, because then it's just like, how long can you spend on the move? So it's kind of a sticky scenario. But so I did end up winning on time, which wasn't the greatest like feeling, but it is what it is. But yeah, super exciting game, super, super tough game. I was giving Garett his flowers for this game, especially compared to our other games at the other Cleveland Rating Go Club tournaments. He was playing very, very well, very, very well. Just the clock beat him, not me. But yeah, this was my first round game, and this is a taste of how my other games will be, by the way. All of my games this tournament were kind of crazy. So yeah, and it makes for good reviews as well. But yeah, this was my first round game, ending with a win. Unsatisfactory, but a win nonetheless. But yeah, if you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video.